Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey.
Good morning. How are you, Bob?
I'm good, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing well. Morning, everyone. I'm Tom Brush, and this is Bob Graham, and this is another edition of Today's Antidote, where we help renegades take action and help you find that one thing to help you move forward with your day. Maybe you use it today, maybe you use it tomorrow, maybe you won't use it for 6 months or a year, but it's things that we hope will provide thought-provoking conversation and ideas to help you move forward with your day. So this week we've been talking about...
Hey, Tom, can I stop you? Because you know I like to stop you.
Sure.
Can we take a moment and describe what a renegade is to people? Because I get that question a lot. Why do you guys call it Ring of Renegades? What's a renegade to you guys? Are you guys like subversive? Are you guys anti-everything? Or what's the deal? And I think it's worth taking a second to just explain what that name really means to us. And my definition, we continue to work with that definition, is the person who's taking action. They're trying to carve their own pathway towards their own vision of success, whatever that looks like. That could be a person who wants to create a nonprofit that helps millions of people, and they're not even worried about making money from that. Or at the other extreme, it could be someone who's trying to make great money doing something they're passionate about, and everything in between those two extremes. Anything you want to add to that, Tom?
Yeah, I would just think that it's someone who chooses their own pathway, that they've either experienced others and are no longer interested in that because they just feel like it's just more of the same. It's the status quo, or, they're tired of the echo chamber, which I think today is more of a challenge than ever. It's just everybody is saying the same thing in a million different places, in a million different ways, but in reality, it's all the same. And I think people are tired of that and want something that they create that's their own. And again, I think it encompasses, anyone who sees themselves as a leader, whatever that might be. Maybe it's a business owner, maybe it's someone in a nonprofit organization. Maybe it's somebody leading a team. Maybe it's someone who's just trying to do the best they can within a team, given some of the challenges that they've faced. So, and I think the beauty of this is that we're looking for that, our own unique pathway, and yet we're not reckless. Because I think there are a lot of people out there who are reckless, who don't think always about some of the consequences that might happen based on their actions. And I think that's different. I don't think these are people who are consciously making decisions to try to move forward and do the best for them, for what's real for them, rather than just trying to run away from the norm.
The other thing I'd add, Tom, is everyone that I've talked to and everyone I've interacted with in our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, in our page, at all of our networking events and various other places, they all are trying to create something unique to them. Like it fits them in a way that I couldn't, someone said to me the other day, how do I know you're not going to steal my idea? And it's funny to me when someone says that, because I couldn't steal someone else's idea, because they have all the thought, all the knowledge, all the experience, all the perspective, but I couldn't take it. If I took your idea, Tom, for what you're trying to do, I couldn't do it because I don't have the passion that you have for nonprofits. I don't have the experience you have for nonprofits. I don't have your perspective from all those years any more than you would have it for me. And I think that's the thing that I try to think through a lot, is that we're all trying to create what's unique to us, not another cookie cutter solution. I don't want to create the next Starbucks. That's been done. I don't want to create the next Apple. That's been done. I don't want to create the next, what's a group that we could be? I don't know, Stu McLaren's group, right? We don't want to create that. We want to create something unique to us. And everyone that I've talked to has that unique sensibility that informs and colors everything they do. Are you laughing at Tim's comment?
Yeah, Tim said that Bob used the formula. He sort of used the formula. He danced around it a little bit. I think just for more clarification, since it's a new year, we might as well explain it. That at some point we started talking about what is real for people. And I think you were talking about that what's real for you is different than what's real for me, because we have different knowledge, experience, and perspective. And when you put those things together, it creates it. And so even if you took someone else's idea, you would use your knowledge, experience, and perspective to drive it, which means it's going to be Bob's. It's not going to be the other person's. And I think that's really what this gets to, is that we aren't all the same. Inherently, we are all different, and we will never be the same, because we all have different knowledge, experience, and perspective that changes the way we view things. And I think in some ways, to me, that's what makes a renegade. Somebody who looks at that and says, you know what, I have different knowledge, experience, and perspective, and I'm trying to figure out how to use it to the best of my ability, knowing that I could never be someone else because they have different knowledge, experience, and perspective. And I think
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, how many pizza shops have you been into, had their pizza, even though pizza's pretty straightforward? You make the dough, you put the tomato sauce on, you pop cheese on it. And I bet if I put 10 pizzas in a row from 10 local merchants, those all would taste slightly different, because one puts more sugar in their sauce, one puts more salt, one puts more tomato paste, another one uses meat sauce. All those variations. And we think of pizza as that one thing that's pretty consistent, but it's different. And I think that's one thing we have to think about, is every pizza shop owner does what they think is correct in making their pizza. And if you like it, you go back. If you don't like it, you go to the next one. And eventually the person finds the pizza that appeals to them.
Correct. And the pizza shop owner finds the people who like the pizza the way they do it. And I think that's the piece of it, is this is all about you being yourself and finding and figuring out what those other people who are interested in what you have to offer. And it's not going to be everybody, and I think sometimes those are things that, interestingly enough, create that uncertainty, because we're always trying to figure out, rather than just doing what's real for us and seeing how and figuring out, finding those people who are looking for that. We're always trying to change it to meet everyone. And in reality, we're never going to be able to meet everyone.
And we tend to second guess ourselves. To use the pizza example, because it's easy to feel and sense, I think I'm putting too much salt in it. So you cut back the salt a little bit. Well, at that point, you're no longer making Bob's Pizza. You're making Bob's Pizza built to satisfy an audience that may or may not like it. And I think we tend to knee jerk. When someone's critical of something I do, my first reaction is, okay, shift everything, change it all. If someone wrote a comment right now, I hate your program, I hate the way you guys prattle on like you don't know what we're doing, the first thing I would do after we got done the program, Tom, what do you think? We should probably script this a whole lot more. We should really do this. We should do this. We should be more like this. That would no longer be our program.
Right. That's
right. I think, and the uncertainty is you have to find your audience. And the audience is out there. I think if we're real and genuine and authentic, the people will find us and we will find the people. We will move in the right direction. Those two things come together. And when we're inauthentic or controlled by our fears and our uncertainty, that's when I find that I'm not able to do what I'm meant to do and I'm not doing my best work. And the work I do for people is derivative or not nearly my best work. So they don't go and rave about, oh my God, Bob's amazing. They go, yeah, Bob got it done.
Right.
But that doesn't build my business. My business grows when people say, this guy is amazing. You got to talk to him. And they only do that if you're building something that's unique to you.
Absolutely. Well, and how could you build anything else? I mean, I think it would be really hard for you to go out. I mean, could you do it? Maybe, but you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it in the exact same way with the exact same steps and the exact same interest that you're going to do it if it's something that you really care about. And so it makes it harder for us to figure out. And I think what's challenging is that most of those things are all internal, right? Somebody says something about what we do. Go back to your comment about the show. Somebody says, you know what? I wish you did this, this, and this. Well, that creates some uncertainty inside of us. Are we doing it right? Do we need to do it differently? How should we think about this? What is going on? And all of those thoughts just lead typically to confusion, overwhelm, and the uncertainty of, well, what do I do next? And typically, especially with a lot of people we talk to, they don't have people to talk to about what do they do next. They just sit and it runs through their head, and they get stuck, and they have to walk away, and they try to figure it out. But when it's only a one-way conversation with them in there, I guess it's a two-way conversation between them and their uncertainty.
In my case, it might be a six-way discussion,
well,
Tom.
Could be. It's possible.
All those voices come together.
Yeah, and I think that then it's really hard to say, okay, this is what is real for me. And that goes back to, it's not right. It's just real. This is what I believe is the best way for me to move forward. And then maybe I can have a little more confidence to take an action. Not necessarily certainty. It's just, I believe that this is, and I can now confidently make a decision. Yesterday we talked about, it was Monday, the first day of the year, and we both had a little uncertainty. And I think we have learned from past experience that one of the ways to get through uncertainty is just take action. Don't let yourself get stuck in it. And, I think that I found a way to at least move through the day. As I look back on it, could it have been better? Sure. Could it have been worse? Absolutely. It's just what it was. It's what was real. And now, how do I move forward based on that experience to help me figure out what's the next step?
I had the experience that a couple of people I'd been talking to last year took action because they had and called me, and it was like, hey, it's a new year. I've been meaning to do this. Now is the time. So there is that. Keep in mind, two people act, right? I act in my business, and then the potential customer acts as well. And in terms of uncertainty, the other thing I think that really struck me yesterday is I got up in the morning thinking I was the only person who felt this way. And then when you and I talked about it before our program, it's like, yeah, we're both feeling that. And then all through the day yesterday, people were commenting about our program. Hey, I heard you talking about uncertainty. That's like the biggest issue. I'm so glad you brought that up. And so this is not unique to us. And I think that's one of the other things that gets in our head, like, oh, if I'm uncertain about what I'm trying to do, if I don't really have complete clarity, I'm the failure. And everyone else has complete clarity. Tom knows exactly what he's doing every minute of the day. And Steve and Bill and Tim and Susan and Pat, they all have this clear vision, like a step one, step two, step three. The reality is more that none of us know what in the heck we're doing. We're just taking an action that makes sense in the moment. And then if it's the right action, we do more of it, or we follow it where it takes us. Or if it's not the right action, we learn from it, shift a little bit, and try something else.
Can I comment on that? So
Sure.
Just one of the things I want to say about that is it's interesting the way you say that, because it does sound like we have no idea what we're doing. And I think that
Tom? Do you know what you're doing tomorrow or next Tuesday? Really?
I know what I believe that I know what I will be doing those days. The results might not be what I think they are.
Okay.
So sometimes I think we don't know the next step. Other times we do know the next step. The challenge is we just don't know the results. And so that reaches back and causes some uncertainty with us of, that comes the question of, is it going to be work or is it not going to work? Is it the right thing to do? Should I have this meeting? Should I, that's where it leads to. So yes, sometimes we have no idea what to do next. Other times we know, but it's the concern about the result that halts us from taking that action, right? So it's not like it's just like we have no idea, like we're complete knuckleheads, which could be the case. And could be like, yeah, we have an idea. We just are uncertain of what the results are going to be. And I think that's the little difference between, I think, just the way you said it, because I don't want people to think that we're complete knuckleheads. I mean, they probably do.
But things do shift dramatically. Absolutely. Yesterday, you got some news that you're going to be doing some speaking for a group, and you were asking me yesterday if you should plan to go to the meeting in Austin in March. That wasn't on your radar screen a month ago.
No.
And going to Austin could lead to business for you, and that could change things. Now, that's a logical next step for you because you've been talking about doing this. You had a connection that helped sort that out. I totally get that. But Austin was not on your plan a week ago. And correct. I think that's the thing that I'm trying to get at. Not that we don't have a clue like we're lost, but we really don't understand what could come tomorrow or the day after. I think what Tim says is really probably the best way to look at it. The reality, though, is that we see the future through our own lens. We have no idea what tomorrow will bring, but we make plans anyway.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And then, Tim heard Austin. When that happens, we have to schedule some time when you're in Texas. So I met up with Tim in San Francisco when I was on the West Coast when he was living in Oregon. We went to a baseball game, a Giants game. So much fun.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to keep that in mind. March, Tim. And I'm not 100% certain I'm going in person, but we'll see. We'll know more as it.
And there's another thing, Tom. You had no idea that you might actually meet Tim.
Correct.
That wasn't on your radar screen until literally 20 seconds ago. And that could change your whole vision to going to Austin. Maybe that entices you, or maybe you think, why would I do that? I mean, Tim corrected me. He was in Modesto, California, not in Oregon. Sorry about that, Tim. I swear he was in Oregon for a while, but what do I know? So, Tom, when we deal with that internal uncertainty, how do you deal with it on a daily basis? Give us a tip or a strategy for dealing with that. Something really simple. And that's going to be our one antidote today. Like how I did that?
Yeah, except you put me on the spot. I'm not sure I like that. But no, I think that, for me, it is taking action. It's doing something, whatever it might be. I think what I have done at some point, which is not good, and I think social media creates this opportunity to get lost in a scroll, right? I don't really know what to do. Or email. Let me check my email. Let me check Facebook or Twitter or whatever I'm working, Instagram. And that allows us it's really avoidance. We are still uncertain about what to do. We have just moved on to like, oh, let me go through this. And I think it's going back to thinking about where am I trying to be and what's going to help me do that. So yesterday I had some, we all have some of those moments every time during the day. And I was getting lost in a scroll a little bit, which, I was answering some responses in our group and doing some of that stuff, which has value. And then I was thinking about, okay, well, we've got this workshop coming up and I need to do some editing around the marketing materials we've had. It's like, okay, well, doing that is going to help us get closer to having a more successful event. And by doing that, that's going to help down the road, finding new people for the Ring of Renegades, finding people for the Renegade Success Network, maybe some one-on-one clients, whatever the case might be. And so that allowed me to go back and take the next step. Even though I wasn't 100% certain of what I was supposed to do within that, I knew I had to do something related to that workshop so that I would get out of the endless lost scroll. And I think that would be my thing, is that when you find yourself in that uncertainty about what to do, go back and think about what is your goal, your intention, your resolution, your destination, I think, as we like to call it. And what can I do right now that's going to move me a little bit closer to that, even though I'm not 100% whether that's going to move me an inch or a mile. At least it's moving and doing something that is beneficial to help you try to achieve where you're going. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges we face, is that in some ways it's easy to set goals, intentions, resolutions, missions, visions. I mean, in some ways that's easy. The hard part is, how do you get there? To me, that's the biggest challenge, because I could sit down right now and you and I did goals for the Ring of Renegades. And that's easy. We were sitting there and we were taking what we understood and kind of where we wanted to be and said, all right, what do those goals look like? And I think so many of us do that. Then the hard part is, well, how am I going to get there? What's the first step? You know, the goal is easy to set. It's like, all right, now how do I take that first step that's going to move me closer, not further away, or not off to the side, or not in a different direction, or all those other things that get in our way? So I think that would be my thing, is go back to what you're thinking about, and then, okay, what's one little thing I can do that just keeps me moving forward?
I think that's great advice, Tom. Help us understand. I know we've got an event coming up, and fit that into this whole issue of uncertainty and how people can reconcile that.
Sure. Well, I think, a lot of people are in different places, right? Depending on how they tried to finish the year. I just was thinking about this the other day, is that some people were, trying to hit their goals and working right till the last minute. Others were like, I can't wait for this year. I'm just going to celebrate the holidays and I'm going to take 2 weeks off. And there's others who were probably somewhere in the same, or we're done with 2020 and we're looking ahead to 2021. What are my goals going to be? What are my resolutions? What are my intentions? So we all reached December 31st at some stage along our pathway. And so now we're thinking, okay, well, what's next? And I think, so whether you're someone who set goals, you're someone who didn't, you're someone who kind of was just working to the end, and maybe you have an idea of what's next, the challenge is, what is that first step? What is the new? How do you take that? And I think outlining what the destination is, and that destination might be the end goal, although likely it's, how do I get through the week? How do I get through the month? Maybe it's the first quarter, so that I can stop and evaluate the actions I've taken to see if I'm making progress towards my goals. And then if I am, great, to keep doing more of the same. If I'm not, all right, well, how do I need to pivot? Or what has changed that those goals are no longer viable? I need to change. I need to have a new goal or modify it, because it's something out of the ordinary has changed that goal. And so I think our intention with this is to help people set that destination wherever it is for them, and now figure out, how do I find my audience? What are they looking for? How do I talk to them? And where do I find them? And it's all really about creating those next steps, being clearer on what you're trying to accomplish and what's the next steps you need to take to get you to the first destination as a part of the year.
And that's our workshop that's coming up. 4 days of workshops starting January 18th from 9 to 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to help you chart what your next destination. We're going to have you look at your audience. We're going to use some strategies to help you figure out, be real clear about who you're trying to reach, how you can message them, and then also how you can market to them. These are not topics that we chose out of a hat. These are 3 topics that Tom and I have struggled with at times ourselves, And we've also seen and helped a lot of other people go through these things. So if you're trying to figure out how to improve things for this year, if you're a little confused, uncertain about how best to move forward, this workshop series is going to make a difference for you. It's going to take you to a place at the end of those 4 days, at the end of that Thursday morning, you're going to have new clarity around where you're going. And like Tom said, not just where you're going, but how to get there. That's our goal. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go to our Facebook page, the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. You can go to the Ring of the Renegades community page. Either of those has an event listing. You can register for the event right there. You can say you're going and we'll send you all the details. Or if you want to learn more about it and talk to us about whether it would or wouldn't work for you and how it would fit into your life, feel free to direct message Tom or me, and we'd be happy to talk to you about it. I'd also encourage you, if you have a friend who's struggling, trying to figure out what they want to do, whether it's finding, do I want to go to a full-time job? Do I want to change positions? Do I want to leave my organization? Do I want to shift my business in this direction? Or I'm not having the results I was hoping for, or I don't understand entrepreneurship. Those topics are also things that would be perfect for someone who is coming into this workshop set.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that it's, there's a link inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, an event page that you can go and sign up there. So I think that what's great, I think, about the opportunity is that even if you're trying to just lead yourself to figure out what's next, the audience is now you, or it's the audience of who you're trying to reach to do whatever is next for you. And I think that's the piece of it. As we get, as I said, I think it's easy to write goals, and that's a big thing. The little things are the things that get in their way, and trying to go like, how do I get to this next spot? And I think that's what we're going to really work on with that. So with that, I think we will wrap up today's edition of Today's Antidote. Thanks so much for being a part of it, whether you were here with us in person or you listened to the recording. You can catch us every day at 8 a.m. Eastern time, or inside our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, as Bob mentioned. And if you're not a member, this is where we have conversations like this and others and interact and engage as a community. So if you're interested in that, go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades, and it's a private group. So you just have to ask to join, and then tell us why you're a renegade. And you can be a part of this community of growing leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, people who are renegades trying to find their own way. So we will either see you inside of that Facebook group, or we will see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time for our next edition of Today's Antidote. And I'm going to just close this out by saying, one of the things that we have put together for those who are looking for a little bit more is our Renegade Success Network. And anyone who is a member of the Renegade Success Network will have the opportunity to attend this workshop for free and be a part of some other things that we are doing. There's some great opportunities. So I thought I would just share that. And I'm going to tell you right now a little bit more about the Renegade Success Network. Have a great day, everyone. Bob, have a great day. We will see you tomorrow morning. Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway. Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals.
You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join the Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey on your own pathway to success.